causes of injury in community-dwelling older adults. Each year, 2.8 million elderly patients are treated in emergency departments for fall injuries, which account for 10 to 15% of all emergency department visits. These incidents can lead to potentially serious consequences, significantly contributing to the morbidity and mortality rate in the older adult population. The 2010 census reported that there are 40.3 million people aged 65 years or older, and researchers predict that the elderly population will double in size between 2012 and 2060. The growing elderly population will have a great impact on the healthcare system as the number of injuries increases.
Normal physiologic changes that occur with aging contribute to increased fall risk in older adults. Changes in muscle strength, reaction time, balance, cognition, proprioception, and vision all contribute to increased fall risk. While the normal process of aging cannot be avoided, some effects can be mediated through interventions focusing on strengthening, balance improvement, and body awareness.
Falls can have a variety of consequences. These incidents are largely preventable.
Preventable!
Effective fall prevention programs address physical, behavioral, and environmental domains.
Easy Does It is a fall prevention program that integrates these domains with the elements of occupational therapy practice.
Physical interventions combat common changes that accompany aging through the modalities of yoga, Tai Chi, and Feldenkrais method. Behavioral strategies target potentially hazardous performance patterns such as the tendency to rush when answering the phone. Environmental modifications improve the safety of one's home. Occupational therapists are uniquely qualified to implement interventions that focus on a wide range of fall prevention strategies such as physical activity, home modification, and education.
Easy Does It, created and led by occupational therapist Richard Sable, employs an occupational therapy approach that relates movement practices typical of fall prevention programs to functional everyday activities such as riding the subway, getting out of bed, and dressing. This allows participants to immediately integrate what they learn into their daily occupations and establish new habits and routines to lessen their likelihood of falls.
Krista, can you tell me a little bit more about the research participants in this study?
Participants in this quality assurance project include approximately 10 to 15 community-dwelling older adults aged 65 and up. In order to participate in this study, participants must not have any neurological disorders or cognitive impairments. It would not be safe for individuals with these conditions to participate without more individualized attention, as resources are not available to support this level of supervision. Participants must also be able to tolerate at least 1 hour of sitting. Participants must be able to commute to the downtown ambulatory center of Mount Sinai Medical Center once per week over the course of a 10-week period.
What are the materials and activities required for this study?
The materials required for quantitative analysis are the timed up and go dual task and Likert scale questions. Also, structured interview questions providing qualitative information will be formulated using the fall interview schedule and activity-specific confidence scale. A recorder will be used during interviews, which will take place 3 times: before classes begin, after the 5th session, and after the final session. Transcription software available online will be used to transcribe all interviews.
Over the course of 10 weeks, a total of 15 functional movements will be taught to participants by a licensed occupational therapist. Each hour-and-a-half session will introduce movements that relate to everyday activities targeted to address the physical risk factors associated with falls. Informal educational components will be provided during rest breaks, aiming to discuss behavioral and environmental risk factors.
Participants will be recruited through the use of flyers posted at the Carpus Health Information Center and other senior centers located in commuting range from the downtown ambulatory center. Additionally, advertisements will be posted on social media pages which target senior citizen groups in Manhattan. Direct outreach will also occur to recruit participants. Members of the research team will provide information about the Easy Does It Fall Prevention Program to local senior centers and encourage participation in the research aspect of the project. Those who agree to take part in the study will be advised that attendance at each of the 10-week sessions is mandatory.
This study will evaluate the efficacy of the Easy Does It Fall Prevention Program through both qualitative and quantitative data. Qualitative data will be collected via in-person interviews on the first, fifth, and final sessions. After reviewing the data from the first interviews, we will begin to identify preliminary codes and label each accordingly. Once all of the data has been reviewed, we will employ inductive reasoning to identify larger themes regarding the participants' body awareness, fear of falling, history of falls, and knowledge of fall prevention strategies, among other topics. This process will be repeated after the fifth session and once final interviews are conducted upon completion of the program. Quantitative data will be collected through the use of the timed up and go dual task and Likert scale questions. Raw data collected on the first and final sessions will be compared to determine if there is a significant difference. We cannot yet determine if the data will meet the criteria for parametric tests. The specific statistical analysis will be determined at a later date. Once Likert scale questions are finalized, we will determine which statistical tests are most appropriate for analysis. The utmost care will be taken to ensure the confidentiality of participant data. A coding system will assign each participant a color and number. This information will be used to label audio recordings and assessment results.
Thanks for watching!